There are habits that make our life better, and those that ruin it. The online Stoic community places great importance on developing virtuous habits and achieving self-improvement. However, they tend to overlook the negative habits already present in our lives. Epictetus, a widely respected Stoic philosopher, identified two vices, lack of self-control and lack of persistence, as particularly harmful. He emphasized the need of persistence and self-control, advocating for striving to do the right thing, even when we may not feel like it. Developing new positive behaviors requires persistence, while practicing resistance is equally essential to avoid harmful habits that hinder personal growth. Although this channel explores various subjects related to good Stoic habits, it has yet to address aspects of our daily lives that we should avoid. Now is an opportune moment to start eliminating anything that negatively impacts us. Let's refrain from negative emotions that distract us from achieving our goals. In this video, we'll discuss 9 common habits to avoid if you want to lead fulfilling and joyful lives. If you're new here, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on all the valuable content we create. Number 1. Stop wasting your time. We waste a lot of time watching videos on TikTok, Pornhub, Instagram, etc. Seneca once said, "We complain that our days are few, but we act as if they were infinite." Seneca extensively contemplated the duration of life and determined that numerous individuals merely exist, failing to truly live. And effectively utilizing our time on fruitless tasks and procrastinating important endeavors, we often pretend that we have an endless amount of time. However, time is our most precious commodity and should not be taken for granted. Nothing assures you that you will be alive tomorrow or able to pursue your goals. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You could seize living at any moment." Therefore, consider this fact in your actions, speech, and thoughts. Reflect on the value of time and do not squander it. To live the best life possible, we must take our time seriously. Number 2. Do not have a fear of change. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The destiny of everything is to change, to transform, to perish, so that you can make it new." Everything in life is subject to change, both the good and the bad. Trying to keep everything the same, apart from keeping you focused on something you can't control, prevents you from discovering the many opportunities that exist and can appear in your life. Don't fear these changes, as they are inevitable and can be beneficial. Instead of solely focusing on avoiding change, we should adapt to it and embrace the positive aspects that come with it. This does not mean we should reject the old or what we have now in search of change. If we are content with our current situation, it simply means we should not fear it, as we have the capability to adapt to any challenge life presents. Number 3. Do not let anxiety control you. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote about escaping from anxiety. He stated that he did not discard it, as it resided within him through his own perceptions. External events do not cause anxiety, as it is solely the individual's responsibility for feeling that way due to their thoughts toward future problems. Anxiety is not helpful in any way and does not aid in solving problems. It is merely a thought that causes distress when thinking about future scenarios of life. It is important to acknowledge that the future may bring uncertainty, but it is crucial to remain objective and avoid subjective evaluations. Remember that you have overcome challenging situations before and have the necessary tools to handle whatever may come your way. Distinguish between things you can and cannot control and consider worst-case scenarios. Often, you will find that the situation is less serious than originally perceived. Number 4. Avoid emotional attachment to things. The concept of emotional detachment is key in Stoicism. According to this philosophy, one must learn to let go of attachments not only on a physical level, but also an emotional one. If you make a mistake in life, it's important to learn from it without torturing yourself with guilt and regret. While it's not necessarily wrong to experience these emotions, they ultimately don't serve a constructive purpose. Once we recognize that we have erred, we can learn from the situation to prevent future mistakes. It is unnecessary to dwell on the emotions associated with the mistake. Everyone makes mistakes, though there is no need to suffer excessively. Instead, we should focus on finding ways to grow and improve from the experience. Number 5. Stop procrastinating. As stated by Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations, you could live life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Likewise, Seneca reminds us, all these people who are saying, "I'm not ready yet." Look, do you think that I'm ready? I was not ready for anything that I do ever. The hardest choices I ever made in my life were choosing to get going, choosing to say, "I'm going to start now." Instead of deferring tasks with the promise of tomorrow, make the most of the present moment. Many times when we postpone something, we never end up doing it. If there is something that needs to be done, it's the best to do it now. There is no point in delaying tasks that must be completed. Even if it requires effort, it is always better to take care of what you need to do. Now, there are 2 reasons why it's important to fulfill obligations before taking a break. Firstly, time constraints limit the duration of leisure time. Secondly, avoiding laziness is key to experiencing guilt-free and enjoyable rest. When you procrastinate, you'll feel guilty and aware of the tasks you should have completed instead of relaxing. Such feelings of guilt will interfere with your ability to enjoy relaxation. Number 6. Stop looking the other way. In Stoicism, one of the most crucial virtues is justice. Philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius or Cicero extensively discussed this virtue in their works. Justice is about treating others with respect and fairness, and adhering to moral principles even in challenging situations. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius also talks about how an action can contribute to injustice. By taking no action and allowing injustice to occur, we become complicit. Being just largely involves preventing injustices from happening around us, even if we are not the cause of them. Stoics are individuals who avoid unnecessary comfort and believe in living in harmony with others. However, certain situations arise when a Stoic cannot turn a blind eye. This moment is when conflict becomes necessary conflict, and it occurs when an injustice is being committed against oneself or others. It is important to remain objective in such situations and act accordingly without letting subjective evaluations cloud judgment. A Stoic must defend oneself while keeping in mind the 4 Stoic virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Although we cannot control others committing injustices, we can control our actions in preventing them. Therefore, it is our responsibility to act, and avoiding this responsibility makes us complicit in injustice, even if we did not provoke it. Moreover, acting justly can also positively impact our own self-perception and self-esteem. When we behave in alignment with our moral values, we experience a sense of personal integrity and authenticity. This, in turn, contributes to our overall sense of psychological well-being and life satisfaction. Number 7. Stop being a slave. Seneca wrote, "Show me a man who is not a slave. One is a slave to lust, another to greed, another to ambition. All are slaves to fear. There is no servitude more shameful than that which we voluntarily assume. Avoiding voluntary servitude is key to living a free and virtuous life." Seneca was correct in stating that we are all enslaved to something, often without even realizing it. We must remember that true freedom requires complete control over our thoughts and the ability to resist temptation. The best way to attain freedom and master our minds is through discipline. While it may be more challenging for some, we must all remind ourselves daily of who is in charge, ourselves or our impulses. As Epictetus wisely said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Number 8. Stop seeking profit or recognition in everything you do. If you have done something well, helped someone or succeeded in something, do not seek approval or recognition from others. Thinking that others must thank you for what you do for them or congratulate you for your achievements will only cause suffering. You cannot control what others think or whether they appreciate or reject your actions. You can only control your own actions. Let the completion of an action be the purpose of the action itself, rather than seeking recognition for it. If you choose to do something, do it because it brings you joy, or because you believe it to be the correct thing to do. Recognition and congratulations from others typically follow a job well done. However, if your effort and work go unnoticed, nothing occurs. You didn't do it for that reason. You did it because it was the right thing to do. The key is to understand that adopting this thinking will make you feel satisfied with yourself regardless of others' opinions. Focus on doing your best instead. Number 9. Stop settling for mediocrity. Strive for excellence every time you engage in an activity. Ask yourself, have I given my best effort? Upon reflecting on your life, you may realize that you have not always given your best. So, why not give your best to something worth your time? Always aim to do your best and avoid external factors influencing your performance. Whether we succeed, win or lose, or receive recognition for our actions, it is beyond our control. It is within our control to strive for excellence in our actions, while disregarding external factors beyond our control. Rather than settling for mediocrity, we possess the potential to achieve something remarkable. Are there any habits that you desire to improve in your life? I'm interested in reading your feedback in the comments section. This video aims to help you break free from unproductive habits that are common in day-to-day life by replacing them with more positive ones. You can support us on Patreon as a sign of gratitude, if you wish. Thank you for your diligence.